Welcome to our project, and thanks so much for stopping by. My name is Jeff Obelts, and I'm a marine geologist at the US Naval Research Lab, or NRL. Today I'll be telling you about our project to estimate the sediment thickness of the world's oceans and how you can help. This project is in collaboration with the Lamont Doherty Earth Observatory at Columbia University and their free-to-use application, the GeoMapApp. If you just want the tutorial and don't want to hear the background of the project, feel free to skip ahead to 2 minutes and 40 seconds. Sediment thickness can be measured or estimated in a number of ways, from drilling a hole in the seafloor to acoustic devices that detect the change in sound wave speed traveling through different materials. For this effort, we are using seismic reflection, sending a sound wave from a ship and measuring the return time and changes of the sound wave. Seismic reflection data has been collected for decades across the world's oceans, as we can see from all the ship track lines here. Let's talk a little bit about what sediment thickness is first. Sediment thickness in the oceans can be defined as the thickness of sediments or various combinations of sand, clay, and mud between the oceanic crust below and the seafloor above. The crust is hard rock extruded as magma from the Earth's mantle. The seafloor is simply where the ocean meets the Earth underwater. Sediment thickness can range from 0 at freshly formed oceanic crust, such as the Mid-Atlantic Ridge, to hundreds of meters or even kilometers thick on very old oceanic crust or continental margins. So why do we care about sediment thickness? As it turns out, the interface between hard oceanic crust and relatively soft sediments can be almost as important as the boundary between the ocean and the seafloor itself. The sediment crust interface is significant for geochemical interactions, fluid migration, and can significantly affect the performance of sonar devices. Now that you know the why and how of sediment thickness, you're probably wondering where you come in. Our best current global estimates of sediment thickness come from expert interpretation of data, which is very valuable. However, these estimates are not updatable with new data and rely on interpretation, which can be hard to reproduce. Our method trains machine learning algorithms with sediment thickness estimates derived from seismic reflection data. And the more data we have, the better the algorithms perform. So by helping us make sediment thickness picks, you're directly improving our global sediment thickness models. First, let's download the GeoMapApp or GMA application. To do this, simply navigate your web browser to www.geomapapp.org and under download links, download the most recent version for the operating system you're using. This tutorial has been tested on Mac OS X and Windows 10 environments. GMA is a Java application, so you will need to download Java if you don't have it already. GMA is an executable that can be run from any directory, so save it to wherever you prefer and then initialize the executable. If you've ever used Google Earth, ArcGIS, or another Geographic Information System, or GIS, GMA's basic interface should be familiar to you. There's zoom and pan tools to move around the global map, and layer tabs to display different kinds of data. Take a moment to familiarize yourself with the basic functions of GMA. When you're comfortable with the basic interface, open up the Seismic Data Portal to view seismic reflection profiles. To do this, navigate to Portals, and then either digital or analog seismic reflection data portal. In this tutorial, we'll use analog data. Loading the analog data will take a minute or two. You can open a seismic reflection profile in two ways. Either scroll to the profile you want in the right-hand menu, or double-click on a line on the base map. Loading the profile will also take a minute or two. Once your profile is loaded, resize the seismic data window as necessary. I like about half the screen seismic, half the screen base map. An approximate pic of the seafloor may also be displayed on the line when you first load it. Toggle this pic off with the Z button because we'll be making a more accurate seafloor pic soon. A similar set of tools are used to zoom and pan the seismic reflection data as the base map. Note that the extent of the seismic data shown in window will be displayed on the base map highlighted in red. As you move along the profile, the red line will move as well. Now we'll make example pics of the seafloor and crust from the seismic data. A set of pics along a coherent seismic reflector is called a horizon. This set of pics doesn't have to be connected as one long line. A horizon can be split into line segments when you can't trace the surface due to data gaps or noise. We'll start with the seafloor horizon. To make a new horizon, click the Digitize or Reflector button. Make pics by clicking along the seafloor. It's okay to pick over small data gaps, but if there's a large gap, end the current line and start a new one. To do this, simply click the Digitize button again. Once you have a set of pics, you can select the line from the left-hand menu and then right-click on the pics to do a few things. The first will be to rename the horizon. For a seafloor horizon segment, please use seafloor, SFLR, or SF as names. For a crust horizon segment, use crust, CRST, or CST. Horizons can and should have the same names. All of your seafloor pics should be named seafloor, and likewise with crust pics. The other actions available with the right-hand click are moving pics, deleting the last pic, or deleting the entire horizon segment. The crust is generally more challenging to pick. It will be visible in some parts of the line and not visible in others. I'm going to make some example crust pics to show you what the pics might look like. This is an area where the crust looks very evident and easy to pick. This is an area where I might be less confident in picking the crust. You can still see it faintly, but it's deep and starts to pinch out as we get towards this area, at which point it's completely not visible. There's too much sediment over it and it's not penetrating through. In areas with no sediment covering the crust, the seafloor and crust pics should be at the same locations. This is an example of an area where the crust pokes out from the seafloor with no sediment covering it, so the seafloor and the crust will be at the same location. Oftentimes, the crust will not be visible due to poor data quality, or it's simply too deep for the seismic to image, like I showed you before. Just remember, if you ever feel uncertain about pics in an area, don't make them. Just move along the line, making pics in areas you feel confident in. Usually you'll have at least seafloor pics along the entire line as shown here, with crust pics where the crust is visible. Once we've made all the seafloor and crust pics from a line, it's time to save the data. To do this, click the leftmost disk icon, which will bring up a save dialog. Select the directory you want to save your pics into. and name the file using the convention line name underscore first initial last name .txt. So for me, I'm picking line ELT43. The file name will be ELT43 underscore GeoBelts .txt. The text files are small enough to send through email. So to summarize and wrap up this tutorial, we've gone over what sediment thickness is, how it can be estimated, why it's important to know, and how you can help the NRL to estimate sediment thickness of the world's oceans. We learned how to download GeoMapApp, the basic functions of GMA, and how to view seismic data. Then we digitized the seafloor and crust reflectors, and finally saved them to a text file. Thank you for watching this tutorial, and if you have any questions or you'd like to get involved, please don't hesitate to contact me at jeffrey.obelts@nrlssc.navy.mil.